You ever get that feeling that you're just one missed paycheck away from total disaster? Well, today, we're diving into Life is Rich, a book that was literally born from financial ruin, and it offers a pretty radical blueprint for building real, lasting wealth.
And that brings us to this quote from Chris Randall. It's a real gut punch, isn't it? It's just a chilling reminder that the line between having a stable life and being in a full-blown crisis is way, way thinner than we like to think. Let's dig into a story that shows just how easily you can cross that line.
So the book has a name for this. It's called The Cashflow Danger. And this isn't about making bad choices or anything like that. It's about the terrifying speed at which a totally secure life can just completely unravel. The Randall story is a perfect example of this in action.
I mean, look at the Randalls. On paper, they were doing everything right. A solid 20-year career, bringing in 10 grand a month after taxes, a home they'd been in for years. But then, bam, an unexpected layoff changes everything. And in just 4 short months, their entire savings gone. They were literally on the brink of losing their home.
Now, you'd think, okay, a guy like Chris with his experience, he'll land on his feet, right? Well, this number tells a very different story. He sent out over 150 job applications in 10 months and got almost no replies. It's just a stark reminder that sometimes, even in a tough economy, working hard just isn't enough.
And this is where the author Nate Scott comes in. He knows this danger firsthand. In fact, he went through a financial roller coaster that makes the Randall story look like a walk in the park. His journey is really a masterclass in how to bounce back.
I mean, just look at this guy's resume. It's seriously impressive. A West Point grad, a super successful real estate investor, the CFO of a company that was growing like crazy. He was absolutely on top of the world, until his company's collapse brought his entire financial empire crashing down.
And when I say crashing down, I mean it. This number, that's the mountain of debt Nate Scott found himself buried under. We're not talking about a couple of late credit card payments. We're talking about a financial hole so deep it's almost impossible to imagine. And honestly, that's what gives his advice so much weight.
So at his absolute lowest point, Scott did something pretty interesting. He called a halftime on his life. He just took a step back to question everything. Everything he thought he knew about money, about success, and what it actually means to be truly rich. And this period of reflection, it became the foundation for his entire comeback.
This slide right here shows a huge turning point for Scott. He realized he'd fallen into this trap of thinking that his self-worth was completely tied to his net worth. And to move forward, he had to completely separate those two things and redefine what success really meant to him.
Okay, now this is where things get really fascinating. Scott figured out this simple but incredibly powerful secret about how wealthy people handle their money. It all comes down to the order in which you earn, spend, and pay taxes. See, for most of us, it's earn money, get taxed immediately, and then spend whatever is left. But for the wealthy, it's earn money, spend it, and then get taxed on what's left over. That one little shift in order makes all the difference in the world.
All right, so with this brand new perspective, Scott created a whole roadmap to financial freedom. And now we're going to dive into 2 of his most powerful tools, learning how to use debt to your advantage and how to leverage the power of a corporate structure.
Okay, the first tool might actually surprise you. It's debt. Now hold on, not credit card debt, not that kind of thing. We're talking about strategic debt. This is when you borrow money to buy assets. And here's the secret sauce. While the value of your assets goes up with inflation, the amount of debt you owe stays exactly the same.
Let's break this down to make it super simple. Imagine you get $1 million loan to buy $1 million property, okay? Your asset, the property, and your liability, the debt, are perfectly balanced. So your equity, your actual net worth from this deal, is 0. You're just breaking even.
But now, watch what happens when inflation kicks in. Your property's value goes up, let's say, to $1.1 million. But your loan? It's still the same $1 million you borrowed. And just like that, poof, you have $100,000 in equity. You literally just made inflation, which is usually the enemy of our finances, work for you. All right, on to tool number 2. This is something most of us probably think is just for big businesses, right? A corporation. But Scott argues that, no, this is a powerful tool for pretty much anyone. So why would you do it? What's the big deal? Think of a corporation like a financial fortress. First off, it protects your personal stuff, your house, your car, from any business troubles. It also unlocks a ton of tax advantages, like being able to deduct health insurance before you pay taxes.
Plus, it just gives you a formal, professional structure that makes it easier to manage your money and even bring in investors. It's all about leveling the playing field.
So, we've talked about the risks, we've talked about the journey, and we've talked about the tools. Now let's close this out with a story that's not just about money, but about the incredible power of perspective and the courage it takes to change your own story.
So I want you to picture this. It's just after World War II, in a room in Germany filled with wounded soldiers. Their bodies are broken, their spirits are crushed, and into this room walks a very successful banker named Michael Downing.
Downing looks out at all these men and he says, anything is possible. But coming from this guy who seems to have it all, the words just fall flat. The soldiers are insulted. They actually boo him off the stage.
But Downing doesn't leave. He just sits down, and in the complete silence, he starts to remove his prosthetics. First his right leg, then his left leg, then his right arm, and then his left hand. And the entire room is just stunned into silence as they realize this man has suffered far more than any of them.
And sitting there, just a testament to the power of the human spirit, he says his message one more time. But this time, it resonates. Anything is possible. You see, this story, it isn't just about financial strategies. It's about having the courage to rewrite your own future. So the real question is, what will your story be?